Well, good day, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are in Tuesday evening, October 8th, 2024. A lot of information coming out tomorrow. Let's take a look at that before we get too far. And then after that, I'm going to talk to you as we get going on, for those of you that use TradingView, how you can get my indicators to appear in there. The Mortgage Bankers Association numbers come out at 6 in the morning. August wholesale inventories will come out at 9. The Federal Reserve's going to release their latest FOMC minutes. Everybody will pour over those at 1 o'clock to see just how aggressive they wanted to get, who was fighting not to do it, who wanted to keep pushing. We'll see. And remember, we had heard that the Fed had changed its attitude and they were going after the labor market, which has been the surprise to everybody because it's not as weak. Susan Collins today came out, tried to smooth that over, saying, well, the Fed has a dual mandate and we watch both. She's right, but I think we all realize what Fed Chair Powell said. The energy stockpiles came out this afternoon, and this is a whopper. 10 million, almost 11 million barrels were put in. Last week, we took out 1.46, and I can tell you for tomorrow, the EIA number is only a 2 million barrel estimate guess. One of these is vastly off. We're going to find out which one it is and where the traders are guessing right and guessing wrong. The other thing that has happened is Hezbollah has made a change of stance, and the change of stance took place just hours ago when they came out on major news wires. They're all carrying the same story, where they would like to make peace with Israel. Israel, do what you have to do or want to do or shouldn't do, whatever the grammar that you want. In Gaza, we are not Gaza. We are Lebanon, and we will stop firing at you and not fire in retaliation for your measures in Gaza. Folks, that's huge, okay? Don't underplay this. If, as Hezbollah said, they'd like to go back to the treaty with the 20-mile border or whatever that was in there, I'm sure Israel would be happy for that as well. They can move their people back, and they've eliminated a proxy firing at them, and maybe, just maybe, out of all this terrible, and I want to make that clear, terrible, 42,000 people killed on one side, with all the soldiers lost and the people lost for Israel, the same thing. It's not that many people, but every loss is serious. Maybe, just maybe, there's a breakthrough happening. If there is, a major proxy of Iran has been put to bed, if you can believe the new leaders of Hezbollah. And remember, Israel keeps taking out the leaders. Let's pray they don't take out this one that's thinking this way with the with the Lebanese parliament. That's what I meant to say. But pay attention in the morning. That's going to have some ramifications. What else do we have? So we've seen that the data that's coming out. Now the question is, what do we have going on? The big story of the day, and I know you probably heard about it, was China. The traders came back today for the first full day of trading on mainland China for the Dragon Week. And the day started off with a boom. The stock market took off, people rushing into the market. As we were waiting on one of the committee members to come out from President Xi, they had a big meeting announcing further stimulus measures. And to put it mildly, it went back to what they were doing before. We're going to talk the talk. We won't walk the walk. We'll do something down the road. That's all the market had to hear. It's not my opinion, just look what the market did. It fell apart. The biggest one-day loss we're so lucky we are covering right now KWEB, the symbol, and you'll see the Crane shares, 10% loss today in the market. So you will see the reaction to that. Maybe we should just go to that in a minute here. But NVIDIA up $5. Big gain. I mean, you're near the all-time high now in the market, if not there. All right, I got to take a look. I thought it was 133.37 recently. I could be wrong. Back up today in everything here. Even with the downgrades in Netflix, they came roaring back. Home Depot came to life as traders are looking and saying, okay, maybe, just maybe, this reaction to higher interest rates has now run its course. I didn't say they reverse. But everything on charts that I look at in bonds and notes, you're down to major support zones. That, to me, is the importance right in front of the FOMC minutes. We'll see what that does. If If you look at K-Web, this is the Crane shares, the CSI, this is the big index, onshore index for Chinese stocks, down and down sharply. It ended up down 9.96, and if you look at the low of the day and where you finished, you weren't far, only 50 cents away from that, but now you've left something potentially of an island. What's an island? It's when you have all the trade above you and you have a gap between the lows and filling that gap, and you gap through it. If that's not filled shortly, this is a bearish sentiment index at this point. You've got a pattern on just the swing line of lower highs and low, it's turned bearish again. The support probably comes in wherever price and the 18-day average can meet. Right now, that's about $4 lower. It will jump tomorrow. If you take a look, it's been jumping. Watch this. 31.52 to 30.99 and 30.25. So maybe 50 to 75 cents a day. It'll still have a lot of that weighting. Obviously, today weights this to the downside, but you're going to lose a value over here. That's how 18-day averages work. The Bollinger Band, you had a phenomenal run over it. Look at how many days you were over it. And what did I tell you? It's like anything else. You can't stay over it indefinitely. It's not how the algorithm works. But getting beyond 7 is so unusual, I can't begin to tell you. Go back, find charts that are actively traded, not penny stocks, actively traded, and you will see what I'm talking about. Do your own count and see how many consecutive days in a row and what happens after that happens. Tomorrow, you haven't lost the embedded reading, but you will when you reopen. You're at 81.76. That gap is going to cause this number to drop way down over here, and it's going to put pressure on the market. We'll see what happens. Rivian, if it can lose the bearish embedded reading and close over 21, I think you'll see buyers come out of the woodwork trying to get the market back up. What Rivian did is, the more you read the story, you know, they build their own motors, and copper wire goes into the electric motor. They didn't order enough. I wish I could tell you it was more than that. Every story that from different writers seems to be coming out the same way. The company that makes it makes these type of cables, putting them together for other people. They can't get them done. And because Rivian's so small, to go get them built somewhere would cost so much money, it doesn't make any sense. So the problem is big car makers have different sources, small ones have one, and they made a mistake. Crowd, well, I'm looking at CrowdStrike back and forth in the sideways action. I like what I'm seeing. I have told you I don't think you're going back here. I think that the 18-day average is the place to want to own it ultimately. The resistance, though, is 306.59 up to 302.42. And if traders are right in this market and the S&P is going to go up and the tech stocks are going to go up in the year end, which so many analysts are now on board, this will be one of the markets to really join in that parade. So it is a market that I think we got to find a way in if you're not in. I like what I'm seeing in uranium. You know, I was looking, what was it, Codelco today. I saw the chair of the company speak. Very bullish, talking about the price and how much uranium has gone up and down in price, but he's seeing just continued demand as I am. Now this market, you're getting your crossovers. So this is a market you want to own on pullbacks. I'm hoping we get one that will have a little more leg to it and stay embedded. I think you got to probe the market. If China sneezes, wind should sneeze, and it was only down 3.2% today. Not an island top the way that we saw in the CSI, the Crane shares, but ready for a correction? Yeah, of sorts. I like the market back down here. I still think this is going to look fine ultimately, as I do in the Crane shares, but it's a question of a correction. Toll Brothers, well, the back and forth action, sideways. Certainly you're going to stop all home building in Florida for a while now. Milton is coming at them as a Category 5 tonight. It wobbled further south just about an hour ago. So now you're putting back in downward from even Sarasota, more areas. So you got Fort Myers in the part. Then Captiva Island. I know that Gordy Linn, the firm I'm with, He has a home over there, and it got decimated in the last hurricane. Things are just getting back to normal, and here you get this. Who knows what you're going to have. It's very difficult living on the coast waters of Florida. Whether you believe that or not, just look at what happens at this time of year. And I'm a guy that lived in Miami, so I do know this. Had a home there. We sold it over a decade ago, over 10 years ago. But I was in 2 hurricanes, and I swore after the second one, you'll never get me through one again. People, you don't want to go through it. And I'm in a big city next to a police station, basically. And that's the only thing that was the big benefit. We were on a grid where they wanted to bring the electricity back for that sort of station. Wasn't going to run just on its emergency power, and we were the first one up. Whoa. Looking at how the market's firing right here, okay. It's still in a downtrend, still in a resistance point, no buy signal in sight. Same in the home builders. This is where the pros, if they're selling, might be doing it. I don't like when you narrow in the Bollinger Bands and you keep bringing them in. You generally get whipsawed in that. I run away from that. I've learned in my age group that you don't have to try to catch every trade that's out there. Number one, you can't. Number two, do you have the fortitude to take as many losses as you will with it? You did hear what I said. The only guys that don't take losses are the guys that buy companies that stay around, and when a trade doesn't work, they call it an investment. And as long as the company stays around for decades, gets bought up, can stay around, it generally goes up with the whole market. There's nothing wrong with that philosophy. There's a guy on CNBC that does a lot of that, and I think you know who I'm talking about. But as a person more attuned to trading, it's not the way that I go about it. I'm looking for the markets to give the run. Can you own things a long time? I'm going into, I think, 9 months of owning, for my subscribers, NVIDIA at 458, which is now 45.80, and it's 132 a share. And we've traded it, and we've kept a core position in it, and so you can do those things. It's money management. Do they all work that way? They don't, okay? I mean, if you're looking for the guy that says, follow me, I'll get you into all these trades, don't watch this channel anymore. I am not that guy. He hasn't been born, but he will promote like he is born, whoever that is. You can see how the market's just fighting right here at the 18-day average. I like what I'm seeing in this. I think that the financials want to go back to the upside, so I'm liking what I'm seeing there on the chart. The chart's still good in the industrial sector. If the red line closes underneath 79, I think it'll pull back to the 18-day average. As long as it doesn't, I think you'll get buying if you take out the high right here of 130, what is that, 135.92? Probably going to get some buying for traders to try to get up to that upper Bollinger Band to push on it. On the energy sector, well, it's going to follow what you just saw in the energy prices and what happened via China. Down. You were down. I showed today, I was doing it in my other videos, you were down $3.50 a barrel, but from high to low, you were almost $5.50, $6 a barrel. Look for big support to show up right here, 88.98, 89.45, and the 90 level. That's where the first big support should be. In the gold market, you're way down. The objective was to get, when you lose the embedded reading to the closest main average, it's done it. The pressure is down, the trend is down. You have to get back over the 18-day average to negate that, and ideally back over 246.69 on this pattern to say it's not in a bear pattern. The silver market could be headed right into here, 27.35 to 16, and these numbers will be up in the morning, so they're going to climb a little for its support. And what did the market do? It's gone from upper band to making a run at the lower band. And I've been looking for this break. I did a silver report. It is timely, and I'll have my actions ready for my subscribers. Copper, right back to the 18-day average. This is where the market should start the battle of fighting for support at the 18 down to the 100-day average. And if that gives ground, back into the 42.37. If China were to come out and straighten what they said, you'd probably go up like a rocket ship, but they probably won't. There's the saving face measure there. BND, you're going to now I think try to get back into the Bollinger Bands. So this washout has probably run its course at this point. And the dollar, be careful if you take out the lows of Monday. It would be the first sign the dollar's probably gotten a little bit too high. And I say that because all you need to do is get up a little bit into the 101.30 level here in the FXE, and I think you're through on the downside for the time being in that market. So we're at interesting times. And as I said, if you're a trading view person and you want to get my indicators, it's so simple. All you do is go to iraepstein.com, client resources, sign up for the indicators right there. We'll turn them on the next morning for you. You get the swing line. You're going to get the moving averages that I use, and there's more that you see here. We're going to put on for you the Bollinger Bands, the slow stochastics with my formula, window envelopes, and you're going to want to get from us then access to the website so you can get notice every time I change a value, you can put it in. The outside bars, weekly, daily, they're all going to show up on the charts, and you can turn all these things off, by the way. It's going to pair up with my different courses. It only takes 2 slots to use, so you've got plenty of slots. It doesn't hog anything from you there. And I think once you use it, you're going to go, wow, this helps me make sense of things. Go to iraepstein.com, client resources, give that a click. You'll see it drop down in the menu, or move up here and it'll take you right there anyways. I'm Ira. I'll catch up with you all in the morning. Have a great evening.